In 2004, at the southern end of the city of David, a sewage pipe explodes. The municipality sends in construction workers to repair the sewage pipe. And here, when a sewage pipe bursts, you also have to send in archaeologists. And it turns out that in repairing the sewage pipe, the construction crews had inadvertently uncovered a series of ancient stone steps dating back thousands of years. And they realized they had discovered the steps leading down to the Pool of Siloam. The Bible tells us that there were 3 times during the year, Passover, Pentecost, Tabernacles, Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot, when all of Israel would have to go on pilgrimage up to the temple. Now, before you can do that, one must purify themselves. The Pool of Siloam was a giant ritual bath, or mikveh, to allow the millions of pilgrims going up to the temple to first purify themselves before beginning their ascent up to the temple from here at the Pool of Siloam. So the question the archaeologists had, how did the millions of pilgrims get from the pool up to the temple? They widen the excavation. They find what has been called the most significant archaeological discovery of the last 100 years. This is the pilgrimage road.
I want you to look at this, because nobody in the public has seen this anywhere in the world. Look at that. This is an active archaeological site. This is really under or part of the city of David, which is older than, when you go upstairs, 60 feet above us, the big city of Jerusalem.
Where is the city of David? Until 150 years ago, had someone asked that question, the universal answer would have been the old city of Jerusalem. Until the year 1867, when Queen Victoria of England wants to discover the treasures of the Bible, such as the Ark of the Covenant, she sends a man by the name of Captain Charles Warren here to the Holy Land, to Jerusalem, to find those treasures. Now, Charles Warren makes a number of discoveries in this area, and he comes up with a theory that the original biblical city of Jerusalem, the city of King David, King Solomon, King Hezekiah, the prophets Isaiah and Jeremiah, is not located inside the walls of the old city, but is located right here where I'm standing in the city of David. And over the next 150 years of archaeological discoveries at this site, Charles Warren will be proven to be correct.
We are in the City of David National Park, in the area that used to be the Givati Car Park, where the Israeli Antiquity Authority and Tel Aviv University are conducting joint excavations. I'm holding in my hand a golden earring that was found here. And this golden earring, we know from other earrings, it dates to the 3rd or maybe beginning of the 2nd century BCE.
Yet another amazing archaeological discovery at the city of David. This one dates back over 2,500 years to the first temple period of your Old Testament.
Another day, another incredible discovery by archaeologists here in Israel. It opens up a world of connections that could illuminate the history of ancient Jerusalem.
The site also rekindles the debate about using the Bible as a field guide to identify ancient ruins.
What we're about to see goes back to 2004, when there was a busted sewage pipe at the southern end of the city of David.
These original?
This is original. These are the original 2,000-year-old flagstones of the pilgrimage road. Not a road near here, not stones that look like these. This road, these actual stones. I call this the biblical superhighway. Anywhere you wanted to go in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, this is the road that's taking you there. Now, 2,000 years ago, we're under the sky, right? The only reason you have all the engineering here today is to support the modern day neighborhood of the city of David.
Which was built right on top.
That's right. The road here is 5 times wider than what you see right now. So what the archaeologists are doing is they're excavating a north-south corridor connecting the Pool of Siloam up through the city of David up to the Temple Mount. And once they finish the north-south corridor, they're then going to go across east-west. But you can see as we go down the openings to shops, stalls that were lining the pilgrimage road. So you're on the way to the temple.
Almost like a little market.
Yeah, like a main street.
Yeah, main street.
Right? Here it is, right? Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. Now you asked the question. Say, would Jesus have walked on this road?
On these
stones.
Limestone.
So I'll give you a conservative estimate. The likelihood that he would have walked on these stones is 100%. Wow. Like you say, well, how do you know? And the answer is very simple. If you believe there was a historic Jesus, he was Jewish. He would have gone with all the Jews in Jerusalem to the city of David, to the Pool of Siloam at the southern end of the city of David. He would have then cleansed himself. He would have walked up along the pilgrimage road going through the city of David up to the temple on the Temple Mount. The historian Josephus said 2,000 years ago, you would have had nearly 3 million people going on pilgrimage from the Pool of Siloam, a quarter of a mile to the south of where we're standing right now, up to the temple on the Temple Mount, a quarter of a mile to the north of where we're standing.
Massive amounts of people.
That's right. The Pool of Siloam that we're excavating as we speak in the city of David is 100% the same Pool of Siloam from 2,000 years ago. The pilgrimage road that we're standing on right now that is being excavated as we speak is the same pilgrimage road from 2,000 years ago, same Temple Mount, not simply a matter of faith, but a matter of fact. And I believe when we finish the excavation of the pool, of the pilgrimage road, this too will also be among the great wonders of the world, but in a category all its own. Why? Because if the pyramids and in the Colosseum represent a chapter of history, once upon a time, this represents the continuation of a story. The Egyptians are gone, the Babylonians are gone, the Romans are gone. Jerusalem is still standing. The story of Jerusalem, of the Jewish people, is of a people and a place that has been knocked down time and time again.
And so you can see why the Palestinians want this to stop.
That's right.
Because they want to deny Judaism and Christianity
That's right.
their history.
Allahu Akbar!
You know what Hamas called their attacks on October 7th? They called it the Al-Aqsa flood attack. Now, Al-Aqsa is referring to the Temple Mount, referring to Jerusalem. They said, that's strange. Why didn't they call it the Gaza flood attack? Why didn't they call it the settlements flood attack, the occupation flood attack? Why did they call it the Al-Aqsa flood attack? What's this battle really over? It's over Jerusalem. And not just the physical Jerusalem. It's not just a physical conflict. Jerusalem is going to be the source of values for the world. The question is it going to be Hamas's values? Is it going to be Iran's values of the Ayatollahs putting out poison into the world? Or will it be the values that the Bible speaks of, like the prophet Isaiah, of Jerusalem being a house of prayer for all nations?
Iran, Hezbollah, the Muslim Brotherhood, Islamic Jihad, he would destroy all this.
100%.
Yeah.
Again, this undermines the story that they've been telling for the last century. So that Jews, and by extension Christians, have no roots, have no heritage in Jerusalem. And if we don't have heritage here, again, the United States then doesn't have heritage either, because the Judeo-Christian heritage, the bedrock that the founding fathers built the United States of America upon, comes from here.
And the truth is they've been very successful pushing Jews and Christians out of most of the Middle East, where there are thriving communities in all these Arab countries. There are either none or they're basically underground. They barely exist.
You know what the key is? There's two minority groups that have flourished, or at least survived in the Middle East. The Jews and the Kurds. You know what they have in common? They fight, right? If you're not willing to fight, you're not going to survive in this part of the world. It's not always nice, it's not always happy, it doesn't always look good on TV. But if you're not willing to stand up for your rights, you're going to get crushed here.
And this is a point we were discussing earlier, the great Thomas Paine made, basically. He said, I choose war over tyranny. Because nobody wants to live under tyranny.
Yeah.
Let's keep rolling.
Let's keep going. If you look over here, you can literally see where the archaeologists are up to here. You can see 2,000-year-old pieces of pottery. Again, going back to the time of Jesus. And you're going to find ancient coins in here.
So they
dig those small tools. You know, you're not talking about sledgehammers or anything like that here. Very, very small tools. Now, if you look closely, you can see here, you have little pieces of black soot. Now, what is this black over here? That's ash from the Roman destruction of Jerusalem in the year 70. That we still have remnants of the fires when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem. You know,
and it was horrendous, right?
Yeah, they burned,
slaughtered people, they butchered people.
Josephus says they killed over 1 million people. You know, it's a tragedy. And yet, what we see here with the ash is that, on the one hand, it's the remnants of the destruction of Jerusalem. But on the other hand, we're still here. And it says in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, that the righteous will fall 7 times and get back up. The wicked fall once and stay down. The fact that we're here unearthing the city of David, unearthing the Pool of Siloam, unearthing the pilgrimage road, bringing it all back to life, is a sign that we chose to get back up.
So when I touch this, this is thousands of years old.
That's right, 2,000 years old.
That is unbelievable. Just think about this. Look at that warhead. No, I'm kidding. But obviously it was cut somehow.
Yeah, I mean here, you can see
of pottery.
All these pottery pieces over here.
There's no question about it. It's just unbelievable. And this is why this is so important. So when you open your Bible and you read about these things, you look at history and so forth, there it is. It's no joke. Anything about the Palestinians in there?
I don't think so. You know,
Any Palestinian coins?
You know, it's interesting. In the Quran, you know how many times it mentions Jerusalem?
0, I heard.
0, right? In the Bible, well over...
But your point is, this is not the holy city of Islam.
No.
And it never has been.
No, even for them, they say number 3, right? For us, it's number 1. And it's always been number 1. And there really isn't a number 2. You know, it's interesting because what's going on now, there are 2 types of tunnels. There are tunnels like these that are bringing things back to life. And then there are tunnels of our enemies, like Hamas, who represent death. And again, it's a choice. You could have a Jerusalem of life, or you could have death, right? And those are the options before civilization as a whole.
It's so true. Right now, there's a stark choice. And that's the way it is. There's nothing in between.
And so for both of our nations, hopefully we will make good choices.
Well, so far we've not, but there we go. We have another shot. Zev Ornstein, first of all, I want to thank you for that fantastic tour. There's actually a lot more to see here, as a matter of fact. You were telling us that just to complete the project you saw is how much every 3 feet?
$180,000.
$180,000. And you're going to take that walkway and you need to move it out.
That's right.
And this is just part of what you folks are doing here. So you have to raise an enormous amount of money, and we're relatively successful. But every year, year in and year out, that's what they need to do. So if people want to contribute to this very, very important project, where do they go?
cityofdavid.org.il. You do /donate. If you want to find videos about what we're doing, go on YouTube, City of David, social media at City of David, and you'll find everything that's happening, everything that's being unearthed, why it matters, at your fingertips.
cityofdavid.org.il. Thank you again. God bless you, man.
Next year in Jerusalem.
Next year in Jerusalem. And this year in Jerusalem.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.